I have two things. One, I want to tell you a story of my own, a life story that goes back to my time of coming to Christ. We lived in a small town called Mexico, Missouri. We moved there when I was 7 years old, and we went to the First Baptist Church of Mexico, Missouri. And in that time frame, I was 8 years old. I remember being eight. It was so clear to me. It was 8 years old. And in this church, and I don't know why, it's like you turned 8 years old and you were supposed to go forward and you were supposed to get Jesus. In fact, one Sunday morning, my closest friend, he got up, walked down the aisle during the altar call. Remember those altar calls? They were Just As I Am and other songs like that. And so I thought, oh, must be time for me to go forward. So I started to get up, and my dad grabs my leg and kind of yanks me back down and kind of leans over and says, where are you going, By? And I said, well, I'm going to get Jesus. And he said, I don't think so yet. The next year, now this is how I remember it, and maybe others in my family wouldn't remember it this way, but this is my remembrance. See, we had this thing that after church we would come home. Remember those big meals of big pot roasts and fried just chicken and big Sunday meals, right? And my dad would talk to my family and ask them about the sermon. What did you get? And what did you get? And my older brother and sister, they would always go first. Well, all of a sudden it changed. And my dad started asking me first, what did you get out of this, Byron? And and it started making me listen. And he began to guide me and mold me, in a sense, into the gospel by opening up my heart to listen and to hear what was being said. About a year later, I wasn't quite 10 years old. I was still 9. It was February of 1965. I would be 10 in just a couple of months. And my dad had spent that time talking to me, praying with me, helping me understand who Jesus is. And that Sunday morning, do you remember your Sunday morning? That moment? I'm sitting there, and there's an altar call, and it's a song, it's a hymn that I loved. On a hill far away stood an old, rugged cross. My dad leans over and he says, what are you waiting for? And I jumped out of that pew and I ran forward because I knew at that moment I loved Jesus. I needed him and I wanted him. But even more, he wanted me. At 9 years old, through the help of my father, I came to Christ. And that's part of the story